Hi, my name is Brian Palmer. I'm the Senior Director of Grain Origination here at Purdue Agribusiness. If you've worked with us for any amount of time, you know we take our values seriously. Quality, integrity, teamwork, and stewardship are important to us, just like they were over 100 years ago when Purdue was founded. To that end, we want you to know how committed we are to fair weights, fair grades, and consistent discount procedures. We want to provide transparency into how we handle weights, grades, and discounts so everyone is on the same page. First, I'll give an overview of our protocols, and then we'll get into some of the nitty-gritty around discounts. It starts with our inventory control program. This document we have, the ICP, details how we responsibly control all the grain that comes in and out of our facilities. This is consistent throughout the company and protects farmers, customers, and our inventory. It is important to us that all the grain we come in contact with is weighed, sampled, and tested accurately. That's why all of our associates who weigh and grade are appropriately trained and licensed to do so. We also have specific, reliable procedures for sampling and probing at all of our locations. Our equipment is dependable. We use the best of the best. Our primary moisture testing is done using a GAC 2500. Even though this machine has its own internal checks and leaves no room for operator error, we still cross-check samples weekly with another location, tester, and/or verified samples. It's important to us that our testing is accurate. Similarly, our truck scales are heavily regulated and tested often also. We know that if the truck scale is off, you can't do business. Our scales are tested privately, checked by the government on an ad hoc basis, and cross-checked with other locations. Now, let's move on to rounding moistures. At our East Coast locations, we round moistures for our farmers in order to keep accurate records and provide you with the best possible profit. Here's how it works. To maintain the integrity of our business, all grade factors will be entered on tickets and settlements exactly as tested. As a service to our farmers, we discount 0.1s as 0.0s and 0.6s as 0.5s for moistures and will calculate accordingly on your settlement. Check out this example. The ticket and settlement both say 13.1% because that was the tested moisture, but no discount has been taken as though it came in at 13.0. Time for discounts. First, let's talk about what happens to all the soybeans that get delivered to our crush plants. Every load is scalped and screened to get rid of pods and any foreign material mixed in with the beans. We also dry down every single soybean to 10% moisture before we crush it. A bushel of soybeans, or 60 pounds of beans at 13% moisture, has 52.2 pounds of dry matter and 7.8 pounds of water. So 13% is the guiding light, the baseline. So you can see here, the wetter your beans are, the more wet pounds are necessary to get those 52.2 pounds of dry matter. The same phenomenon happens in the other direction if your beans are over dried. So what's most important here is that there's no moisture gain. Our discounts exist solely to cover our costs of having to dry the beans down and the excess pounds of water we are buying from you. So let's take a look at an actual example here and see this all in action. To set the stage, we're assuming a moisture discount or charge to you of 12 cents per half point of moisture above 13%. In this example, we're doing the math on 980 bushel of beans. So here's what an extra 2% moisture would cost you on 980 bushel of beans. You bring us 980 bushel of beans at 15% moisture. The price is $11.51 a bushel, which equals $11,279.80. We charge you 48 cents per bushel for this extra moisture. So your total earned would be $10,809.40. The same 980 bushels of beans, if you harvested them at exactly 13% moisture, would actually only produce 956.94 bushels from that same acreage because you would lose the water weight of the 2% moisture. At $11.51 a bushel, that nets you $11,014.39. So really, the $470.40 moisture discount is only costing you a total of $204.99 on that load of soybeans. Now for corn. Just like soybeans, we're not looking to make a profit with our corn discounts. What we're charging doesn't even always cover the cost of dryer upkeep. We're just making sure we can dry the corn down to where it needs to be. So you're used to this chart already. Here's the corn version. 56 pounds of corn at 15.5% moisture, which is our baseline, has 47.32 pounds of dry matter and 8.68 pounds of water. The patterns are the same here as they were with soybeans. The wetter your corn is, the more pounds total we have to buy to get to our 56 pounds of corn. And our discounts here only exist to compensate for the water we're buying from you and the gas, electricity, labor, and maintenance it takes to dry the corn down to where it needs to be. Here's an actual corn example. Same concept as with the soybeans. If our current corn discount is 5 cents per 0.5% of moisture, let's look at a 990.71 bushel example. If you deliver to us corn at 17.5% moisture, and we're paying $4.75 a bushel, your total before discounts is $4,705.87. After we charge 20 cents a bushel for those 2 extra points of moisture, you'll see a charge of $198.14 on your settlement sheet. But just like with soybeans, you'd lose some of those bushels if you harvested the exact same acreage at 15.5% moisture. So instead of bringing us 990.71 bushels from your same harvested acres, you'd bring us 966.69 bushels. That means you'd earn $4,591.79, making a difference just under $85, not the almost $200 that's on your settlement. All in all, the discounts that we're charging when you bring us grain wetter than our baseline moisture are to cover the costs of doing business. I often talk to folks who look at the total discounts taken on their settlements and do not take into account that they are delivering us excess pounds of water, and that weight in water is lost, whether the grain is run through a dryer or simply dried with aeration in a bin. I hope this video sheds some light on our weighing and grading policies and the way we discount for excess moisture. If you have questions, reach out to us anytime. We're happy to explain any additional details or provide more information. Thank you for your partnership, and here's to another successful year.